guys know it is Drunken Chat, son.
All right, good evening, everybody. This is Drunken Chatson with Cheltenham's Grains of Cornbread. The crew will be along shortly as they can come. I know a lot of those guys are actually hanging out with Brian McClay on the CBSI Top 10. So if you guys need to freaking go over there and freaking see what's going on with that, absolutely freaking have fun. But we're going to get into this because I have a lot of books to get into, and we just want to make sure that we get into some of the news. A lot of good and interesting news that popped up this weekend that is going to have waves and waves and waves of stuff that's going to send shocks throughout our collections and speculation and everything. If you haven't been paying attention, so I'll get into that very soon. But first, I wanted to give a shout out to our friends and family that are hanging out there in the chat with me. For instance, Ben Fong, thank you. Ten Hino 73, Dizzy Gillespie, Empire Comics, Nicholas Gotra, Mojo Pin, Cartier West. Always glad to see you hanging out with us. Peter Fights Night, and yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Cardio West says, I feel like Lucas is trying to make it to look like everyone's here with that background. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and freaking swipe that away real quick. In fact, let me just go ahead and swipe through. All right, let's. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the what's going on with the with the news first. One of the first things I always cover is your Wall Street. What was happening on Wall Street? First thing is, look, it was a mixture of this is, and actually this is monthly. This is not the weekly. Decided at the end of the month, so decided to do the monthly. Um, for the month, we had a mixture of greens and reds. Greens and where we want to see it as far as some of the industry, the entertainment industry. Reds when it comes to some of the banks and the fundings, right? We all know what was happening this week with the Silicon Valley Bank, Credit Suisse. All the saw reds, which is interesting, right? Because as really, I don't want to hear anybody talk about, well, this get option, this got freaking option. They bought this. Look, if they don't have the money, if the entertainment industry doesn't have enough money to actually do anything with it, guess what? They're not going to be able to pay for the film or the movie to get done, right? And it takes a couple years to actually get the funding up and done. Um, which is going to go into something else. I'm going to go talk about, which was really interesting. Um, as we saw this past week. Um, but yeah, Disney actually rose up $100, and that was pretty interesting because look, there was a lot of executives on the higher end that got freaking released and laid off this week. Some really important freaking guys, not necessarily anybody on the freaking boards because they have some really some good controlling some good control. Um, but I think that's what why this actually went in green is like, hey, okay, if these executives can be let go, that will actually release some of the financial pressure to pay for stuff on the front end, some of this stuff. Netflix is doing well. Warner Brothers did really well. I've seen them go from like 10 to 15 within the last month or so. So that was really great to see. Fox is doing well. Paramount is doing well is doing well. Some of the news that happened this week. Poison Ivy actually won an award from GLAAD, which is like the gay lesbian entertainment joint. It was kind of an interesting week for the LGBTQ community. There is the BAFTA award that went on this week, and then there's this. They decided to put that out. Um, the reason why I really like to see this win something, especially when it comes to the GLAAD award, is because um, the Poison Ivy series was a really great series, a really good series about a character that just happens to be gay. It's not about them being gay. The romance between Harley has really been developed, and it's just an aspect that either slows down or quickens or gives good tempo to what's going on right now. So I like to see that, and I think this should be a template for how to deal with romance, not just LGBTQ freaking stuff. This should be a good template for how to deal with romance in the superhero community going forward. And hopefully they pay attention to it. So I do know that that this was supposed to be a limited edition series, but now I think they're adding on more issues to this one. So it looks really good. We're going to see more Poison Ivy. I'm going for it. I love to see it. Let's see. Du-du-du. All right, we're up to 9. The really great interesting thing was, in this thanks to some of the guys that brought this up to me. Legends of Zelda had a new video game, a new collector's edition, that was brought up. That actually went on sale. I believe it was either yesterday, right? And what was interesting about it was how Walmart went about it. All right, here we go. Big Remo, how's it going, brother?
What's happening? What's going down?
Shit. Chilling, trying to get through some of this stuff, man. Freaking, I didn't know if I was going to do the whole show by
Nah,
myself.
man, my
But
bad. I just got back to the house. I had get some pizza and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta jump on.
oh shit, man, how's
Sorry,
the family doing?
oh, they're doing good, man. My daughter's actually sick, so it was like,
Oh yeah, man. I've been reading about the flu's going around right now.
yeah, it was around it's been around my job, man. I just did. I mean, I didn't notice it because I, just didn't pay attention. But I noticed one of my engineering team was telling me that they went through their whole department, so.
Oof.
The whole team got it, and then everybody was starting to get sick. Yesterday, I was in a couple meetings, and people had the sniffles. And then I was coming home from work yesterday, and my daughter FaceTimed, and she was just like, "I got a sore throat." I was like,
Ooh.
"Here we go."
People need to start putting the mask on again.
Yeah, man. Here we go. I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, people come in and work. It's like, oh, I got allergies, bitch. You ain't got
Man, this girl
allergies,
came in. She was like, we were in a meeting, and she was in the conference room by herself, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, because I had to stay home today because my daughter was sick. But yesterday. She was in the conference room, and she was like, I got the sniffles, and I'm like, she's like, my whole family's sick, and that was when they were telling me that it went through the whole department. I was like, what? And then my daughter, when I stayed home today, the same girl was in the conference room, and she had a mask on, and I mean, she couldn't barely talk, man. You could, I mean, she was jacked. I'm like, what are you doing there? She was like, oh, I had to drop off some samples. I'm like, girl, I don't even get why you're even at the job. Like, that's why everybody getting sick. Like,
yeah. In the meantime, comic book convention season has started up again. We just had, freaking Ant, and Jen and those guys. They're out at
MegaCon,
yeah,
right?
they're out there at MegaCon right now, man. Freaking, we
C2E2.
already know. Yeah, we already know how bad freaking con crud is, right? And
Yeah.
then yeah, like you were saying, C2E2 is fixing to come up. I've
It's
already
happening right now. It's they're both happening at the same time.
yeah.
So you had to pick or choose this year.
Yeah, I had conventions picking me up like Awesome Con picking me up like because that's in the summertime. Like, hey, do you want your freaking media pass? I'm just like, nah, I'm straight. You know how much I love free. You know how much I love free, and I'm like, nah.
Can't
I
do it.
mean, as much. I mean, look, problem is like I love mask. I mean, I'm all about freaking putting a mask on when I feel in danger, but I just don't. I can't do it, man. I'd rather
I'm at
stay
the
home.
point. Yeah, that's where I'm at. If I gotta wear a mask, I don't want to be there. Like I would never go to Vegas and wear a mask. Like if I gotta wear a mask to Vegas, I ain't going. So if that means I'm going to a special event, if I gotta wear a mask, then I don't want to be there. Like why? It's like not fun then.
Yeah. Eric Hurd, um, in the comments is asking me about the CBDC central bank stuff. So hold on, let me make sure I can pull that up real quick.
A little bit.
Right. So the central bank digital currency, I'm guessing people are because people have been asking about the U.S. and when we're going to get our own digital currency because Iran's got their own thing, Argentina's got their own thing. A lot of people are going or either got their own digital currency right now or are going to rely on Bitcoin. And of course, we don't want to rely on Bitcoin because it's still not reliable. So here's what I will tell you overall. Remember FTX when it was the heat was starting to get put on them, right? Um, and then like by that, the shit got crashed, and then by that weekend, somebody hacked them. The purpose of digital currency is that it's not supposed to be hacked, right? Because it uses quantum technology to do the algorithm to pass the information back and forth. So the fact that it got hacked is crazy to me. And that means that you shouldn't freaking trust it at all. Um, and that's going to happen with any type of financial system. But if you're going to be putting so much trust in fiat and something that its main point is supposed to be not be hacked, hell no. I would suggest that people look to the treasuries, right? The bonds, right? I've been telling people about that for a while because they are cheap as fuck right now, with a lot of great interest rates. Like a lot of them, like I think it was like 35 billion treasury bonds came up on auction this past week, or are going to come up this coming month. And I'm talking about 7-year bonds, right? So what you do is you buy them for real cheap and you just hold on for them and you just accumulate the interest on that stuff, right? Um, and better than better than the dollar, better than anything else. You're going to get your money back plus more.
Yeah, it's going to mature.
Yeah, it's a great freaking asset to have, right? So that's where I would go with that advice is, your little dog coins and Kmart coins and all this other freaking bullshit that's out there. But yeah, freaking back to freaking people getting sick.
But I will say, for all else, people buy gold. Gold.
Yeah, so I guess it all depends, right? Like how I remember buying gold, right? So a lot of people have also been going crazy, like, oh yeah, we got to buy gold because, um, you know, China, Russia, Kenya, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they've been kind of doing a lot of stuff behind our back, trying to say, hey, we will now take cash tender, not non-dollar
No,
for
yeah.
yeah, for our oil assets, for our gas assets, and all the other stuff, which is supposed to shake up the U.S. markets, right? Um, which is fine, but you're gonna need all the other countries to freaking follow suit. Otherwise, the other countries can just say, you know what, maybe we don't need Saudi Arabian money right now. Maybe we don't need Russian oil right now. And please don't freaking hack my shit just because I said something in fucking Russia.
I was gonna say about the tungsten, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't say anything about that.
God damn, man. So there's a whole types of crazy stuff, man. So we're also dealing with that stuff. We're also dealing with Congress and them messing around with the ticky tacky stuff and everything, right? What I will say
Mirror.
is,
Smoking
yeah,
mirror.
yes, it is smoke and mirrors because I really want people to understand the way it really works. A lot of the stuff that is in that piece of paper, bills do not give authorizations, and people people look at me side eye when I say this. Bills do not give authorizations. The stuff that they're asking for, they already have authorizations for. Bills give the money to do what they already have the authorization to do. Okay, so if you're reading it, always go and find out like who it says can do something, and all the bill is doing is saying, okay, we will now fund them to be able to do what they already have the ability to do. Just saying, a lot of people haven't freaking they're all against it. They haven't freaking read it, so they don't really understand it. You're going to need to read like the NDS, National Defense Strategy. You're going to need to read the ITARs, International Trade Regulations. You're going to need to read all that stuff to understand what in the hell is going on with that with Bill 686 and the Canadian bill, which just last night actually went through, which I already ignored. Shit. Eric Hurst says U.S. debt let the dollar collapse, reset with the CBDC. Just wondering your thoughts. I know Sinwa and Brazil have moved to trading in non-dollar. Yeah, but you got to understand what they're really trying to, how they're really trying to do that within BRICS. They're trying to do it. They're trying to get a whole bunch of other countries to start.
To buy in.
Yeah, to buy in. They're trying to get them to buy oil, which is the most tradable asset out there.
But not use
But
cash.
right, and they're going to get a lot less
everybody's trading in cash. Obviously, you know what I mean. They're
Mhm.
using the U.S. dollar. They're not using their own currency ever.
And what I will point a lot of people to is the story about, especially when a lot of this stuff when they're trading oil is actually backed by gold, right? Some countries are taking gold for this stuff. There was a wild story came out a couple weeks ago regarding Belgium and South Africa, and I forget the other country, where they have these huge reserves of gold, and it was just sitting in the warehouse. Um, when they said, "Okay, we're ready to do this. We're just going to use gold," they said, "All right, bet. Let's go freaking check and see how much you got." They said, "Oh no, this is how much our ledgers are like." I understand that. I just want to see it in warehouse. Auditor went down. They freaking checked the warehouse and they did a swipe test, right, to see the purity of the freaking gold. Turns out it was only 20% gold.
Tungsten.
There's only 20% gold, so there's a lot and it's apparently that same gold has been transferred in and out for late.
Over the course of years.
Yeah, over the course of years, like 6 to 8 years or something like
Yeah,
that. So that's not that particular warehouse is not the only place that has that freaking gold. So now they're
absolutely.
doing a worldwide audit,
Yeah,
trying to figure out what's fake and what's
yeah.
not.
And
Uh,
that could go all kinds of ways. You know what I'm saying? But the fact remains that anytime somebody gets, you gotta get gold,
yeah,
gold or
got to.
diamonds,
Yeah.
gold
Get
or
some,
diamonds, and
get paid in gold doubloons and shit. Uh,
like I mean that's the smart investment. You know what I mean? Like everybody will take gold.
Tetra Diatom says, "Hey, let's make comic books the new oil and remain a superpower." So don't forget, Saudi Arabia, in particular the royal family, has been heavily investing
Investment,
in comic books. Right, some of those guys they have Action Comics, whatever. They've got the Amazing Spider-Mans right now. Some of them they bought some of their collection off of Nicolas Cage before his shit got freaking stolen. So they've got some shit now. Um, I I just don't know where they are with it right now and who's got what. Right, I'm pretty sure they probably moved on to some of the trading cards. They moved on to some of the moved on to some of the Pokemon cards. My fear right now with the trading card community is if you look at the back of any Panini card or anything, you can see that it's made in China, right? So it wouldn't be nothing for some little guy in a little warehouse or a little factory to say, "Oh, let me go ahead and turn this printer press on real quick and knock out these valuable cards and then just push it onto their freaking Royal King buddy that's out
well,
there with painting."
that's the thing with the original art. Like original art is a 1-on-1 usually. So you know, comic books there's going to be multiple copies, so it'll always have a cap to what it can really get to because there's multiple copies of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it still will be able to be traded. You know?
hmm Chat Cave says looked earlier. Gold is 1965 an ounce. Platinum is like 890. Seems like we should be buying platinum.
There you
It's a
go.
lot cheaper, right? Um, what I would say is absolutely freaking. If you want to do raw materials, that's absolutely fine. You might also want to look into some of those stocks that use some of those rare earth materials, rare materials, because as we get into the cheaper EVs and cheaper machinery around the world, they're going to freaking need to mine that stuff more. Um, it's going to be freaking wild to see who's doing what. I forget the medals that I pressed here, but I think that those were actually doing well. Before I was hoping they would crash, but it didn't. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck with um. Ha- so yeah, it's weird because here's what I was going to do. I was going to buy half because you guys know in order to do calls and puts, right, you got to have 100. So I just bought half, right? And I was like, all right, I'm going to wait till it goes down, and then I'm going to buy the other half and just freaking make my profit off. Well, the shit still went going down and just went fucking up, 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 up. So I'm stuck with a profit that I wasn't expecting on the wrong end. So we got to see what's going on with that.
And I remember
Go
when
ahead.
gold was $370 an ounce, and that was probably like 15, 20 years ago. That shit was like 400 an ounce. That shit's up to down to $2,000, and it fluctuates. It goes higher too sometimes. So it just depends. You know what I mean? But that's a turn. That's a ROI right there. If I've ever seen one, you know what I'm saying? And it keeps going up. Like buy gold.
Um,
You can afford it
yeah.
by.
Let's see. You can
I believe
fighting
it.
code. Yeah, fighting code name says there's a prince out there somewhere that has the most expensive comic book collection. Um, I would believe it. I would have to see who he is and what his name is, but I don't. I thought Lebanon was a democratic country, but let's see.
I believe so.
Okay, but G says JK, but do they like sell bars of platinum? I don't know. I don't know. Steve says, "Hey, I'd rather buy Silver Age. That's always a good proposition."
Yep,
And then Silver seems like it's on a dip too at $24 an ounce.
yep.
Interesting. All right. Oh, I was getting ready to talk before you came on. Remo is Legends of Zelda, which was one of the most popular freaking video games from when we were kids. They
Mm-hmm.
just released a collector's edition. The collector's edition went for $60. It is now regular selling at $214. So if you come across your local Best Buy or Walmart and you see this freaking thing, go ahead and freaking grab it for $60, and then freaking go ahead and freaking put it out there. You might not get for $200 for it, but I would definitely at least make $50 off it. So for
Right.
110,
Try to get something out
undercut,
of
yeah, undercut these motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
it. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, shit, man. I might have to go on a little hunt tomorrow.
like why
I got
not?
at least 6 targets in the 2 mile radius.
I mean, freaking, you can. So, I mean, here's the deal. I don't know how your Best Buys out there do, but where I'm at, they do layaway, right?
Oh shit.
Right. So you can freaking, just slip a little freaking 10 to 10. Hey, put that in that little cube for
Yeah.
me.
Slide that up underneath the
You know
counter
what I
for
mean?
you.
Put $10 down on it, right? Fucking put it up on eBay. You get
Right?
your money, slide,
Go
slide
put
right back
that.
in a Best Buy, pick it up.
Go
And
grab
yeah, you
it.
know what I mean? And then here's the deal: like even if you
Uh,
even if you don't sell it for that $110, right? That's still on like $10, $15. You put it's still Legend of Zelda. That's still something you can mess around and play with, right? It's
you
still
got me
something
over
you
here.
can use, right? It's not
You
like
got
it's a
me over
win.
here looking it up now. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, it's the hey, what's going on, Dre at Barnhouse Comics? Hey, what's going on? Long time no see.
Yeah.
Um, Solo Wiki says all you have to do is buy tons of stuff now, and the depth that's where wolves loose and cause an outbreak in cities. Boom, you're rich. Got to make those bullets. Jesus Christ. Steve says he says he's also investing in Bronze Age 2. Well, Steve, go ahead and share with us which books you think um, Bronze Age and Silver Age people should be looking into that are actually probably really cheap right now. Creed says MSRP for the collector's edition is around 105, I think. Well, here's what I do know. My friend that was really hot into it, um, he did the pre-release, right? He did the pre-release. The pre-release, he got it for $60.
Hmm.
But then at some point, the very next day, he got an email from Walmart saying, "Boom, we're gonna have to,
Raise the price.
well, yeah, they canceled his order." Right,
Mm.
they canceled his order because they said his shit looked kind of fishy and everything. Well, it's not because he used a bot or anything. He did use a bot to let him know and notify him that the
Then
shit
it was
was
for
up.
sale.
Right, so he used the bot to do that. He bought it, shit went through, but the next day he said, "All right, your shit's freaking canceled." So he's been fighting with them for the last couple of days to
When
freaking
did
get
this
it,
come out?
like yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday.
No
Um,
wonder.
yeah. So luckily his wife, while he was fighting with freaking Best Buy, um, his wife, his old lady, fucking was on her computer and she saw the shit and she went ahead and fucking bought the shit. Um, but yeah, so
That's
we've
wild.
been tracking it.
I always find
Yeah,
the deals.
yeah,
I always find the deals that I can't find.
yeah. Comic book drip dodgy, uh, giving game out. Not sure what that means, but welcome, Gus Checo, long time no see. The collector's edition is now $130. All right, yeah, that's good. It's still good. Look, I pulled this maybe like 6 hours ago before I took my daddy nap, so good to see that people are tracking this one. Just a regular game is $17. Wow.
I see it
And
listed at Best Buy for $129.
Steve Shaw says none are cheap, but take COVID out of the stat. Take like a Hulk 181 in a 30-year time frame it averages 18% per year, better than any stock in a 30-year period. Um, there it is, right? So what we don't want to do is what I don't want. Here's what I was thinking about this past week, right? We're holding on to this stuff. A lot of people are holding on to the stuff as possible retirement. Um, retirement, like, hey, we're all going to retire at some point. What I'm scared of is that we are all going to retire around the same age, right? Us 40-year-old, 50-year-old guys, we're all going to retire around the same age, and we're all going to try and release the same shit around the same time, right? Which means all that shit's going to be fucking cheap as fuck.
Yep.
And you're just not going to get the money that you invested. That's what I'm scared of.
I go.
Yeah.
Get
You
you
know,
some comics so you can buy you some gold.
yeah.
Buy some precious metals. You know what I mean?
Get
Buy
what you
some stocks and some
here's what
oil.
you do. Here's what you do. Fucking fly to Rhodesia or fucking Kenya where some of those mines are at.
Yeah.
Freaking get with our cousins.
Yeah, all you need
CBA.
is a couple pieces.
Yeah.
Some of that big block.
Yeah. Like, hey, how much you giving me for that little
Yeah,
pound, that little ounce over there?
yeah, right there. What do I
5
got to do?
cents. Let me
How
holler at
far
you
will I
real
go?
quick. Let me holler at you real quick.
Yeah, how far will that get me? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I need to get, so I know. Shit.
Steve Shutt says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles until COVID never had a losing percentage year to year since its release. It's the only book that ever had a 181 and a 20-year gap.
Better, yeah.
Or better than that.
I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But only because I know for a fact those books are rare, all of them. And if they're not, they're definitely second and third prints or whatever. But I know those books are rare, so yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Now, I forget which issue it was. There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out there. Actually, I can see it right here. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2, and it's the third print, which has the first appearance of April O'Neil on the cover, looking slutty as all hell. Let's see.
Yeah.
So,
Read the books, man. It'll tell you everything you need to know. You just gotta read those books, man. If you never read a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book, like the original run, like it's night and day. Yeah.
I don't understand how that's not freaking big, man. It's cheap. It's cheap
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I mean, if there's any freaking second or third prints, I think this should be out there because this looks like this doesn't look like any of the other freaking covers.
The first, I would
It's just
say,
so
like
beautiful.
10, 15 issues are probably, to me, probably first 20 are probably worth having. Like, in any not in any condition, but they're worth having in good condition. You know what I mean? But that first one,
Oof.
first couple, first 5 or whatever, yeah,
Yeah. Shit.
those books are rare.
Steve Schuss is saying he does stocks too, but he's just made as much in comics in the past 10 years easily, and it's way more fun. Absolutely. No, you can't freaking open up a stock and fucking read it, but it does. It kind of does something for you. It does something for your manhood, your testosterone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially when I was a kid, I was like in what, like third grade, fourth grade when this shit was. I was on this shit tough.
Shit.
Like this version, not the Cowabunga dude. This version, I was loving it. This is the time when ninjas were like the shit. Remember all the ninja movies that they used to make? Like this came out. Ninja Turtles came out during that era. It was like everybody was in the karate movies. That was like Karate Kid was out. There was like
True.
American Ninja. Just all the different ninja movies that were out. You know what I mean? Like this came out during that time, and if you were there, and that's why I'm saying these books were small printed because they weren't supposed to. They were independent comics. Like that was an unheard of thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of these things out.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're making a really good point about because I always talk about how there's these phases that the movie industry goes through, right? We've already went through the superhero phase and we're fading out of that shit.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going back to the not superhero, the action hero phase, right? John Wick did really well, and I'll go into that in a little bit. Cobra Kai actually started picking up on the martial arts, but I don't think the Hollywood is picking up on that people love that martial arts freaking kick, or maybe they do. But look, let's be real. Cobra Kai did really well. What's that one? Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah.
People don't realize that's a fucking martial arts movie, right?
Yeah.
It's sci-fi. Yeah, people on a surface it's sci-fi, but when you really dig into the guts of it, it's a fucking martial arts freaking movie. It's a freaking great fucking martial arts freaking movie.
Yeah.
It just happens to have a great fucking female lead who has been all over the year and doing her fucking thing for the last fucking 40 years, right? So people and everybody is ready for more martial arts stuff. You just got to do it freaking slick. Paramount is fucking up right now by not doing more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. But you know what? I'm glad you guys fucking reminded me of this. So this will bring me back to my freaking next news, and I don't have a slide for it. But The Last Ronin was just announced this week that there will be a video game for The Last fucking Ronin.
I seen that and I didn't think it was real, so that's real, huh?
It's real. It's freaking happening.
That shit looks hard.
Shit. So, look, I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought if it was going to happen, they might do, like a little cartoon like a one-shot cartoon 3 or whatever. But now it's like video game, which is interesting, right? No,
if it's good gameplay, that could be that could be the lift it needs to get it to the mainstream. You know what I mean?
Paramount. The thing it's Paramount, right? Paramount has spent too much money on Star Trek shit right now. They're canceling other series to do other shit, and all I can say is nobody gives a fuck about Star Trek right now. And I could say that knowing how fully invested I am in fucking Star Trek. I've got several the first appearances and first issues for Star Trek, right? So I'm heavily invested in hoping that sometime Star Trek um, fucking gets off its fucking ass and actually does something that people fucking want, other than the fucking cartoons. The cartoons are fucking amazing,
Yeah.
but behind the fucking paywalls, all that shit, nobody's fucking watching any of that shit. So the leader should be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they even tried the Beavis and Butthead shit,
I mean,
which was
that's
funny,
a cult
but nobody
following.
watched the shit.
But I mean, it has a cult following though. It does, because the people who like it, they came out and watched it, supported it. You know.
Right, but are people going to pay the $10 to $15 for Paramount Plus to watch the shit? And the answer was resoundingly no.
No, yeah.
So, but I do know that you can have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Um, and people don't even need to fucking watch shit. But kids will fucking buy the toys.
Hey, you could
Gonna
put
fucking
the Ninja Turtles in space. You can. I mean,
good.
the first couple issues, man, they were in space, man. They were in space, fucking shit up. You know what I mean? They had the little thing in their mouth. They had like the little air they could breathe. It was like a little. If you look at the early issues and they're in space, they got this little thing in their mouth so they can breathe in space, and they're out there getting it in. So you can do a lot of stuff with the Ninja Turtles, man. That's what I'm saying. If you use the real comic storylines and characters and stuff, and do it like you did it in the comic, then it's a total different take on the Ninja Turtles than Cowabunga did, and that's for sure.
Yep. Tetra Diatom was asking why Star Trek. Well, you got to understand. Let's take it back to the context of what's been happening with Hollywood and everybody else right now, with the whole let's make sure that there's more diversity and everything, right? Star Trek, because you have many different freaking characters, to include female captains and female, commanders, right? They were able to do that. In fact, they were working on one. I forget which one. It wasn't Discovery. I forget which one it was, where you can have, hey, there's this female, right, black African female who was basically a fucking criminal, and you were supposed to be on that journey to see at one point where she was going to be the commander of her own ship at one point, right?
Oh, this okay. I got you.
It didn't work out. Why? Because nobody wants to watch that shit. Nobody gives a fuck, right?
You said she was a criminal.
She was like, yeah, she literally was a fucking criminal. I forget
You're
what she
literally a
did.
bad guy and get control of a star of a what do you call it? A Star Trek.
Yeah, of a star spaceship. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I forget. Oh,
Is she a pirate or what? Or is she gonna
no,
be a
so yeah, she was actually a number two on another fucking ship.
Mhm.
She did some shit, like that shit was under attack. She did some shit, and that the captain of that ship ended up fucking getting killed off. She was blamed for that ship, so she was charged with criminal charges, and then they sent her off to a prison colony. And then she was brought onto another ship as a fucking slave to work off her fucking years and shit. And then slowly but surely, she's been uh she was not a prisoner anymore. She's a part of the fucking crew, and now she's working her way back up. And it's crazy.
Wait, this show comes on Paramount Plus,
yes.
and I haven't heard nothing about this. So man, this is crazy. I usually can catch. But see, I don't have Paramount Plus. Okay, so I mean, I can't really speak on it.
People are missing out, right? It's crazy. It's crazy because it's even crazy because some of the people that were on the original ship are now on that same ship. And when they see this bitch just walking around the ship like it's fucking cool, they get looking at her with that side eye, like what the fuck?
Like what the fuck? You got our captain killed.
And what I love about her character, once again, it's not for everybody. But what I love about her character is she still brings that black girl energy to it.
Right.
Like I'ma tell you, you need to fucking stand there like that. Like, and mother's like, yo, hold up, you a
Hey,
fucking
hold
pussy.
on now.
You the one in the orange jumpsuit and
Yeah.
shit. Like, you need to
Yeah.
fucking stand down.
See, but that's what I mean. Like,
Oh,
but okay, so let's take like even the franchise out of it. If no one hears about the shows, then how do you expect to be successful? Like in Ninja Turtles or Star Trek or whatever. Like I see them showing Picard, but I didn't know there was other Star Trek shows
but
on there.
that's the thing. They're hoping somehow that the people that so for instance like me, they're hoping that people like me are stuck on the whole Picard thing and want to watch Picard. I watched a couple episodes of Picard and I was like, yo, I'm out. I'm done, man. I love the character. I love the dude. He's a fucking cool dude, man. But I am
Mm.
not about that. I went back to the cartoons. The cartoons were fucking funny.
Mm.
There was this one
Talking
other
about the
show.
old cartoon, right?
No, there's some new cartoons. There's
Oh, I
two
didn't
new
know that.
cartoons.
Okay.
There's one cartoon, and I forget the name of it. And then there's another cartoon. It's more like it's like a weird 3D animated freaking thing. It was weird. I don't know if they did a second season on it. That one was good. There's another show in this wild way called Starfleet Academy. That should be freaking
Okay.
good. But they need to freaking move off of the whole Picard thing. They need to move off
Yeah.
of the whole William Shatner freaking. They okay. There's other freaking captains out there. There's more stories to freaking tell. And let's just move on that. Let's get the next generation involved, right?
They need like two generations from that
Mhm.
because our generation got into like Deep Space Nine and everything, but then after that they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So,
Steve Shuss brings up a really great point. That there's no toys for kids anymore. Can't remember the last thing I bought my two boys in the toy aisle. Nothing in years. It's sad. All the toys are for his grown-ups. Reboots of GI Joe. I'm not sure what TF is. WWE, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, etc.
Transformers.
Yeah. So I know for a fact that my boy, who's 9, he still plays with the freaking action figures. He loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Um, the WWE stuff he's not into right now. The GI Joe stuff he's not into. But superhero stuff he's all over that stuff. But pretty soon he's going to be too grown for fucking action figures,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Um,
I mean, there's shit. And more adults in them toy aisles than I see kids. You know what I mean? Like the kids are into the games and stuff, man, and like the phones. I
yes,
see more kids in those. Like when I go to Target and stuff, I see kids in those aisles.
right. So that's why I will say that them doing the last running as a game versus a movie or a TV series is actually a smart point because
It
look,
absolutely is.
my kids they're not into that stuff as much as video games. They're all over fucking video games, right?
Yep.
So
And
do
you can
that
still win
first.
if you have a franchise and you can win in the video game market. You win all across the board.
Hmm. Yeah. Chad Cave says, "Hey, kids don't play with toys anymore. They're all on TikTok." Well, yeah, exactly. So if you remember, they stopped for a while now. They stopped actually watching TV, and they started watching YouTube, right? And what they
Mm.
were watching on YouTube was other motherfuckers playing fucking video games.
Yep, I know, man. My daughter was doing that, and I would sit down and watch her do it. And I was just like, "What the? Go play the game."
Now they've all moved away from watching people on YouTube. They're watching people on Twitch and TikTok
Mm.
play video games. So that's something you gotta freaking pay attention to. As long as TikTok survives, if TikTok
Minecraft,
survives past this. Um, let's move into this. Two interesting things that happened within the past week. Your boy, Jonathan Majors, got arrested on a domestic violence charge. Okay. Um, So far as Laurie has come out, he's shown text messages from the so-called victims saying, "Hey, freaking, nothing really happened. It was my fault," and all this other stuff. But what do you think, man? Is this going to be an Ezra Miller situation where the motherfucker is just off the fucking rails and shit, man? Because this is the dude that DC, or excuse me, that Marvel built their freaking next two phases around. Kang, right? This is the dude. He's a great freaking actor, but we
Yeah.
can't have him out there wilding out, man.
So I mean, I you know, I've I've spoke on it to friends, and I think we've even talked in the chat about it. But I think that it's two things. It's like, A, why he put himself in that position. Secondly, how how did he get into that position? Because to me, that's the last thing you want to do, being fresh off of 2 hit movies, quote unquote. You know what I mean? That you would be putting yourself in a situation where you would have to put hands on a woman, and that woman being your girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I find it almost hard to believe that he would have done that. And if he did allow himself to be in that situation where if someone was going to lie to him, like, what were you thinking, bro? Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah. So Lord of Brooklyn brings up a good point that supposedly he was the one that called 911.
yeah, I mean,
But
that's called damage control.
literally he was the one that put himself in that position, right?
That's what
Cops
I'm saying.
arrive, cops arrive, they take his thing, and then they go to talk to her, and she's the one with fucking marks on her fucking around her fucking throat. So they're going to go with the physical evidence. The physical evidence is, because he can say, "Well, I was just trying to protect myself," but you can't say you're protecting yourself if the person you're protecting yourself is the one with the fucking marks around the fucking throat. You know what I mean? Um,
It
so
means you
apparently,
choked her somehow.
exactly. So, but apparently, the person that did the physical altercation was not him. It was like his bodyguard or something like that. That was the
Well, I
one
mean,
that.
see now all this stuff is coming out. It's like you made us everybody jump to conclusions about whether he was right or wrong. If he never even put hands on the girl, like, why is she apologizing? Why are they releasing these text messages? Like, things like that to me scream like guilty.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would be keeping my motherfucking mouth shut because I'm gonna get it all back. You know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't do nothing, we going to trial, baby. How about that? Like, we going to trial. Like you
But
know what I'm
so, but
saying?
apparently, yeah. Apparently, she's already come out with the text messages. She's already freaking released her statement that nothing, that she's not pressing charges. This is all on the freaking cops right now,
Well,
and they're the
and
ones
that's
that
the
are
thing.
pushing forward with it.
Like, that's my thing. Like, if he didn't do anything and he made it up, whatever. He's out.
Chad came. Wow, he went Creed 3 on that girl. uh, um, but this is a crazy situation for fucking black males right now. So here's what I will say for us as a community. We need to take aside our young boys, black, white, Asian, whatever, and tell them, hey man, freaking be careful of these young girls, man. Man, every girl ain't the one, right? Just like
I tell my daughter in the office. I say get away from these dudes. Don't let any dude don't get up in no dude's face. Under no circumstances, don't put your hands on a dude. You get away from him. If you feel a situation getting to where you feel like you got to get into a argument or an altercation with a man or boy, you go the other way.
go for a walk. You better go for a walk.
Yeah,
Go for a
don't
walk.
even. It ain't necessary because you're gonna end up hurt. It's not gonna end well for you. You know what I mean? So, and I don't care how much I can teach you or what you can learn karate. You still at a disadvantage. Get away. unless you can't get away. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, man.
get away, right? Because
Yeah, if you, I will say, if you're going to be in any type of living situation with another person that you're not married with, make sure that you have a place in your house that you can just escape, that you can go. Shit gets freaking tight. You can go inside and freaking just lock the door.
yeah,
Right. So if it gets, it's going to get freaking tense sometimes. Just go. You can just go in there if you can close the freaking door. Don't be like my boy, who he thought he was getting away, and he forgot that he didn't lock the
yeah.
door.
She gonna
She
kick
said,
it.
"Open up the door, man! Fuck you, bitch! You came in still because the door was unlocked.
There you
Knocked
go.
his ass out."
See,
Woo!
there you go. Yeah, fuck that. Like, yeah, I can't, man. No, I can't do it. See, but that's my thing. Like, I just don't feel like, like you said, regardless of if it was his bodyguard, she got in his face or whatever, they got into a tussle. Like, man, you just were on Ant-Man and Creed 3 or 4 or whatever the movie is. Like, you need to not be in that situation, especially if that ain't your girl. Like, if that ain't your wife, like, bruh, you
Yeah.
tripping.
Yeah. So yeah, and
You-
always remember that once the cops get involved, it is no longer in your hands. It doesn't
Yep.
matter what you say, doesn't matter what she say. If they see any type of physical evidence on her or your body, or they even see like a
One of
vase.
you guys, see, here in California, one of you guys got to go.
Mhm.
One of you got to go. Either one got to leave or one got to go to jail. One or the other.
Yep. They see a vase out of place. They see a window cracked. Any of that shit.
Any
Any.
sign of a struggle?
hmm Because it's happened too many times, right? Where they freaking arrive on the freaking scene, um,
Mm-hmm.
and then they say, "Oh no, everything's good." You know, we were just freaking having a loud argument, and then they freaking leave, and the person ends up dead. So they
Yep.
don't play that shit no more. Somebody got to freaking go. So they always ask, "Hey, do you have somebody that you can spend the night with?" You
Mm-hmm.
know.
That's what I'm saying. Like here in California, it's one go to either you go to jail, or you gotta leave. One of you.
Mhm.
It's one or the other. One of you. Like you know what I'm saying. Y'all can pick amongst yourselves, but once they call us out here, one of y'all gotta leave, or somebody gotta go to jail. That's
Steve
just how it
says,
is.
yeah, Steve says he'll be fine. Wouldn't buy an average Avengers 8 right now. Ezra put that bar up pretty high for getting fired. um, yeah, well, I mean, shit. Well, we'll see what Disney's all about, right? The
Well, they're
trailer
not
was
gonna fire
yeah,
him. They're
yeah,
not gonna fire him.
yeah,
Yeah.
the trailer for that Flashpoint shit was pretty good. Um, that last Shazam, the Fear of the fucking Gods, a lot of people are freaking disappointed in that one right now. So they gotta fucking hit this new movie. They've gotta hit. They cannot fuck it up. That's their fucking
But
last fucking gasp.
I was talking about Majors. I'm like, they're not gonna fire him. They got
No.
way too much invested in that brother.
I
If
don't know,
they're
man. Freaking
pay it off because
yeah.
they
Look at
built that whole thing around him.
well, I would say I disagree because look at freaking Captain Marvel, the Captain Marvel situation with Brie Larson.
Yeah,
She said one stupid fucking thing, and they turned 180 on that bitch.
yeah, but I think I don't even want to say what I think he brings more to the table, and
Yes.
they've invested a lot. Like he's the from the trailer at the end of the movie, he's the whole next season of Loki again. You know, like
Kanye West says, "Hey, them girls, them black girls, can say some shit that pierces." That ain't your son anyway, motherfucker.
oh my god,
Fuck you and your mama. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yo, your car ain't shit, man. Your car, like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Yeah,
They know how to cut. That's all women, bro.
you know, they make new BMWs, right? Like, what the fuck? Yo, hey, that's all women, but the way they say that shit, like, yo,
Shush, Steve Shush, man, bro, you ain't never lied, man. You ain't never lied. I'd have a Rolodex.
right. So Cardi West says Ezra came out as gay, then sees her. So, let's
I thought he was
yeah,
non-binary.
yeah, right, exactly. He has come out as a they, right? So that when you put it in that context, if you I don't care what your politics are, I don't care what your gender politics or whatever if you put it in that vein, like say like, hey, this is a real thing. The pronouns are a real thing, so we should treat them as the pronouns. If you treat it like that, when you reread the stories, it's instead of saying he showed up at some 16-year-old girl's house, you should say she showed up at her friend's house. It's a little bit different. Instead of saying he kidnapped some 18-year-old onto his ranch, it should be she invited her friend to her ranch and she's staying with her friend and whatever. It's a totally freaking story. If you read it in that freaking vein.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't make them look bad.
Yeah. If you're reading it in the context of 5 years ago, it looks bad than a motherfucker. But if you're reading it as
what society is accepting,
right. If you're reading it if you were reading as 5 years ago as he was at a freaking bar and then he got to a fight with these freaking people, that's bad. But if you're reading as the couple, they attacked her and she was just protecting herself. Totally freaking story, and that's the narrative out there right now. So in the meantime, Ant-Man and Quantumanium right now is at 470,000 as of February 23rd. That's when it freaking came out. Vice's John Wick, which just came out last week, it's already at $150 million right now.
It's a different movie though, man. It's like
it's a different movie, but it's down the rabbit hole of what I've been saying. Like, hey, it's time for the superhero movies to just die off. And we've got too much fatigue right now. We're fucking done with the shit right now. Let's take the superhero movies and put them back where they were at during the summertime.
Part 4?
Yes, part 4. They're already talking about a part 5.
I thought it was the end.
I've seen things that I'm thinking that there's room to do it.
Right, if they wanted to keep it going.
Right. So if you
when will he be able to do Berserker if he still keeps doing John Wick movie?
Well, so there's Berserker. There's the Constantine movie that was supposed to be greenlighted. Also, there's the prequel to John Wick, which was the comics, right? They can always do that. There was supposed to be the spin-off to John Wick, which was called The Ballerina. There was that freaking thing. So there's all types of stuff where they could do a John Wick 5, but it's not actually John Wick if they wanted to do it. And there were several characters in this one that they could do a spin-off and go down that line. Whereas it would be before this happened, where he would just come in and just be involved in their life. So there's all types of options for them to do a John Wick 5, but not a John Wick after this. It's sort of like kind of Star Wars it, right? Because right now we've got a whole bunch of Star Wars projects, whereas we know what happened up to Star Wars 3 and whatever, but they're doing all types of projects of what happened before that so they can go forward, something like that. There is a spin-off already for the Continental, isn't there? I don't know. They should probably. I was just hoping
they were doing a bunch, like different things, like you said, the prequel,
the Cardio says, I went and did a repair on this girl's PC and fucked. What? Jesus, that is not family friendly, Carrier. All All right, so moving on. All right, so this is where I'm at, and this is why I really needed Remo. And I was hoping to see some of the other guys who had show up so we could talk about this, but Ultra he had to work tonight, and Mel he had to take care of the old lady tonight. Freaking God bless him. Last week we talked about Victoria Alfonso, right? She got fired last week, right? They made sure they fired her up front. This week it was Ike Perlmutter, right? This guy was ahead of in charge of Marvel Studios. Uh, he is so before he was even anywhere near Disney, he was a toy magnate who once saved Marvel from bankruptcy. He brought over the toy division and he combined it with Marvel to make sure that everything was kind of copacetic. And when they gave him the money, he says, "Okay, we're going to do some stuff, but we're going to do it on my terms." And he brought him back from just spending money all over the place. Um, Promoter can be described as like kind of the main voice of the creative committee that oversight Fahey and the MCU for the first two fucking phases, right? So whereas a lot of people give Fahey and this lady Victoria Alfonso credit for it, it was actually him. And as far as his vision and as far as his bank accounting, that had more in chart that was more should be credited more for the first two phases. Before if I had it disbanded before the release of CW, it was hard for many writers, directors, and actors to do work on films, especially during phase two, because he was saying, "Oh, you want to do that? No, we're not going to do that because there's no money for that shit." When the committee made them stick to a strict formula, it prevented them from exploring more unique and ambitious themes and ideas. For example, I don't know if y'all remember Patty Jenkins, who later directed the DCEU World Wonder Woman movie, which absolutely fucking sucked ass, right?
We're very
Um,
upset
and
about that.
Edgar Wright walked away from directing Thor 2 and Ant-Man, respectively, because of his interference, right? Promoter frequently did this. He would make drastic changes for like kind of like really petty reasons. Um, he also demanded changes to the villain of Iron Man 3. There was this one girl in there who was supposed to be I forget, she was like Maya Anderson or something like that. She was supposed to be a villain, but he changed her from being a villain to just being this regular old girl and getting killed off because he didn't believe that women should be villains and it was not believable, right? Um,
He's tripping.
Oh yeah, man. Freaking. He also believed that movies like Black Panther shouldn't happen uh, because movies with colored superheroes was not going to make money.
He said this.
He said that, and he made decisions based on that. Right. So like after Phase Two ended, and he was kind of moved out the way. Kevin Feige came in and said, "Yeah, we're fucking doing this shit." Right. Um, he was also responsible for the Inhumans shit, right? Um, he wanted to
Yeah,
he would
possible.
he owned a big piece of the Inhumans property and IP, and so when we're talking about whenever you hear somebody say, yeah, X-Men was moved out so they can make Inhumans a freaking thing, this is because of this fucking guy, right? Um, he forced Fahey to push ahead with an Inhumans film. It was the Inhumans TV series. Simply despite Fox for owning X-Men and Mutants, when the film didn't work out, he forced them to make it a TV show that absolutely failed massively. Right, that Hawaii bullshit. Fuck that. He also demanded that the Fantastic Four be removed from comics and merchandising for Marvel because of that 2015 film. Um, now a a rumor, right, is that when Terrence Howard asked for a higher salary for Iron Man 2, he told them to cast John Cheadle, and the brother said that the audience would notice the difference because both actors were black. Okay, so put it simply, this motherfucker's a cheapskate that drove away directors like Edward Wright, Joss Whedon. He put his finger in productions like Iron Man 3 for insane reasons, and he wanted to fire Robert Downey Jr. because he would have been too expensive for Captain America Civil War. So my thinking is that the reason why Robert Downey Jr. is out right now is because of this motherfucker right here. Now the head of Disney has already spoken to Feige based because the Feige doesn't want Paramount for the movies, and that's why Feige eventually took over for the eventually took over. Um, but yeah, man, this dude was just bad news, and it's going to be interesting to see what Marvel can do without this freaking guy. With Fahey definitely in control. This guy was actually in control of some of the stuff with parks and everything, and uh, and the comics, right? So everything that was going wrong with the freaking comics, you can blame on this freaking guy, right? So I had already heard that Fahey was supposed to take over the movies and the comics and make the comics like the movies. So maybe this is a move towards that. So we'll see what's going on with that one. Let's see. Jay Nunn says he must not date from the same women are villains. The fatigue is due to crap. Steve Shutt said the fatigue is due to crap movies. If they just follow the great stories like God of Thunder, if Gore kills actual gods and beats the heck out of Thor for a round or two, that movie makes a crazy amount of freaking money. Exactly, but you gotta remember some of these actors you can only have them for so much, right? Because once they show that they're really good at they're due to make more money that second movie. This guy was the guy that says, "Well, we don't want to give these guys too much freaking money." And there's a rumor that when it came to the Black Widow movie, he didn't want that to happen either. He was like, "Man, shut that shit down. This is not gonna make any money," which was kind of true, but we can't say for certain because of what happened with the pandemic. Jay Nina says they fire Joss Whedon for cheating on his wife. Like, who cares? There you go. Cardi West says that lady on screen would be a villain for the Marvel to use. And then like a Martha Stewart villain type. Yep, absolutely. So that's what we're going on right now. We're going to be able to see a restructuring of Marvel freaking comics. We're not going to have any more. Hopefully, we won't see any more of this freaking political bullshit. Whereas you can't have the Inhumans, you can't have freaking X Men because this guy doesn't have. Kevin Feige is going to have full control over what's happening in the movies and making sure that the comics reflect the movies. So this is going to be freaking interesting. Look, this dude was 80 years anyway, right? He was not going to be able to reflect and push for what we actually wanted. So this is going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see what's going to be going on with that. Jay Nunya says, "Hey, they sabotaged the X Men in the comics for many years. Then the Disney deal happened, and they put Hickman on the title." Right. Um, but what they're saying is that specifically this guy wanted to make sure that the Inhumans was up front over the freaking X Men for reasons. When Kevin Feige was pushing his thing, he actually wanted Kevin Feige fired. Imagine Kevin Feige not a part of any of the phases right now. So we're gonna see what's the real deal. Was Isaac Putterman Perlmutter? Was Isaac Perlmutter correct? Was Kevin Feige correct? Without that backstop, because they're letting a lot of executives
So is
go.
he the reason why everything is being held up? All of these titles in phase 2 or 3 or whatever it is?
This is going to be interesting to see because I forget was it this girl? Yeah, it was Victoria Alfonso that was blamed for the money situation because she she was supposed to be the person that because there was like different freaking lines of accounting, and supposedly she was the one that says, "Well, I'm not going to tap into this because of that," right? And then he was the guy that was supposed to be able to override all that shit, right? So it was between these two and this other person, and people were complaining like, "Hey, we just need a little bit more money to do this, that, and the other thing," and they were blaming these two. So we'll see. Um, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. But all I know is that look, there's a lot more projects out, right? There's a lot more movies. There's a lot more TV shit that's going on. So We'll see. Now with these two going, are they going to open up the floodgates? Are they going to be able to afford more stuff? Because these guys are probably making like 150 mil per year um, as big timers, right? That's at least another freaking TV series they can freaking do with that fucking money. Steve Shaw says, "Well, Russ Crowe and Bale was a waste of money. They wanted to save, but then blow money on Crowe to act like a pansy Zeus. They are just out of touch with reality." Exactly. Lord Brooklyn says, "Give the Russell brothers control. They predicted the disaster that is the current MCU." Da, da, da. All right, all right, all right. Where's the color?
XYZ.
All right, so let's start getting into some actual comics. I was hoping that the rest of because let me ask you, Remo. Now that these are the money men that are gone. Earl, Isaac Perlmutter and Victoria. These are the money men that are gone. The wallet is open. You get to hire any actor in the world. You get to hire. You get to do anything that you want. Any type of. What do you want to see from Marvel right now?
Out of this
Out
lineup
of
here,
nope, out of anything. Not even that. Something that's not even on the fucking board right now. What do you want to freaking see right
I would
now? Or do
probably.
or do we even care about
I do, but I want the story
Marvel right
told
now?
right. But I would like to see Secret Wars because I would want to see the black suit Spider Man, and then the whole the real Venom, you know what I mean, like lead up and
Lulu. So looks like froze up. Let's see. Let's see if that's just me that froze up, or was it just Remo? Oh, yep. It looks like it's just Remo that froze up. So sorry about that, folks. But yep, it looks like it's just Remo that froze up. All right, so let me go ahead if we can let's get into the next section. Once again, I always do a Terra Peak research because I'm always interested in what's going on with some of these other folks. You know, CBSI Top 10 does their thing. Um, Cover Price does their thing with the top 10. I just want to see what does my data actually freaking look like when it comes to these joints that are that we should be looking at. Um, Top one for the last 7 days was Batman number 134. I don't know if it's a first appearance, but it does. The solicitor does talk about the red mask, which is in there. That's the bottom left. Of course, the spoiler. We now have the freaking cover art.
damn,
Here we
and
go.
they
Here we go.
dropped down. I'm like, what the hell?
You was probably going in too. You was
I
like, man,
was. I was like,
Secret Wars, and then another thing.
shit. I was like,
And then
God,
another
hell no.
thing. Had me all fucked up. I was like, oh shit, did my cable go out again? And shit, like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
see, first it was like you went out, then I was like, hell no. I looked at my TV in the living room, like, the internet must have dropped. I had to switch to my other Wi-Fi channel. I'm like, what the hell?
See, Larry Joe says, you know what? Somebody actually mentioned that to me today. Kathleen Kennedy is next. Star Wars has been mediocre to disappointing. So, um, the question has got to be: is it a result of the money line? That's always what you got to go back to. What is it mediocre because of the money line, right? Is it because she stepped in and says, no, you can't do that because it's not enough money, or is it because the stuff that she was presented with absolutely freaking sucked, right?
I think it was it was all. It was the if it's these three people or those two people plus her that need to go, and they got rid of two, and this is the third one.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Yeah, it is. So right now it's supposed to be 4,000 over the next 2 months. Um, those two were the biggest names that were out there. I haven't heard anything about Kathleen Kennedy yet.
but what I
Um,
mean by that is like, did the directors or the people who were writing feel they had to play it safe or do certain things in the storylines in order for them to get greenlit? Like, to me, that's more along the lines of where I would be happy if these people are gone, or why I'd be willing to give additional chances. Because if you're trying to just get a story told, and you know the people are always going to shoot down your ideas, like you said, if I put a little bit more money into it, I can make, this, we can bring this character in, or we can tell this story, we can do the special effects, but if you can't tell that story the right way that you want to do it because these people are going to shoot it down, then I would say I have high hopes, because that would mean that the right story can get told.
okay, here we go. According, and this is coming from thedirect.com, Hollywood screenwriter Cameron Posh appeared on the YouTube for the YouTube channel and dropped an interesting rumor regarding Kathleen Kennedy. The claim is that I've been given is that the severance contract that she has closed with Disney would give her 25 to 30 million dollars in severance. And that's if the screenwriter shared that his sources were surprised about how much of it was tied up in stock or stock options. However, his interviewer quipped that these arrangements were pretty normal in the business. Still, the rumor indicates that her departure will come after the fanfare for the next year's Indiana Jones and the Dollar of Destiny. She will be allowed to quietly remain the head of Lucasfilm for a few more months, but that her retirement will be announced after the next film has been released. So she's fired. She's done.
So the Kathleen Kennedy lady is gone.
Yeah. Yep.
So was her whole, if she was there with George Lucas and all these people, then why would you, if she's been with them since then why would she be somebody you want to get rid of? If she's from the old original guard.
Right. Well, no, so if you take a look at what's been going on, right, with the last few projects, right? Mandalorian, Grogu, boom, fucking hit. But then but the outrage after what's been going on with fucking Rey, what they did with Leia and her Mary Poppins shit. I know some people like Rogue One. I didn't fucking care for it. I forget the other one. Oh, Solo. That was fucking terrible. So if you line up what should be happening with it, right? If I open up my freaking wallet.
Okay, but then what was wrong with these films? Was it the story that was being told, or was it like the actors and the acting? Like, because I honestly, I can't sit here and say I watched the movies because I didn't want to be. I didn't even watch the first three. I watched Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. That was my trilogy, and then
I will give you two exact things that people are complaining about. What's going on with Thrawn?
Yeah,
you've got all these female characters that are popping on the scene. Where the fuck is Dr. Aphra at?
Yeah, that's what the fans want.
That's what the fans want.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we got fucking Mary Poppins, fucking Leia, running around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're throwing all this shit up that nobody fucking wanted. All right,
telling stories that didn't want.
Right. And I will give her Mandalorian, right? Fucking the Grogu character brought a lot of people in, right? The first and two seasons were kind of a let's see the Star Wars universe through Grogu's eyes, but this last joint is through the Mandalorian's eyes. I don't give a fuck about the Mandalorian. I don't give a fuck about the dude. Give me back fucking Grogu. Let's fucking see what's going on with his shit.
Yeah, right.
Let's go with that. They were, let's see all these little kid Mandalorians fucking run around, and I really don't give a fuck, and my kids don't give a fuck. We
That
we
part of it, I
usually,
was kind of like,
yeah, we usually as a family sit down and watch Mandalorian religiously. If not one, we'll watch like every 2 weeks. We have not watched that shit since the first episode of the third season.
is that right? I've been watching it. I'll be honest with you. This story has got more things that are interesting me than probably the last two seasons. Like it's a whole Mandalorian. It's back to the Mandalorian show, and they got other little things in it that I'm just trying to figure out just by watching it. But yeah, I've been kind of surprised, man. Like I've been actually digging it. Grogu's got his got his first little thing. Like, it's good, man. There's parts on it that are dry, and like I said, like he'll always be to me like he'll just fall for. He's like a naive kid, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only part of the Mandalorian I don't like. Is like he's like a 17-year-old kid,
Yeah.
very impressionable. Like he does stuff, and he can do it, but it's like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, I always find myself asking, like, what the fuck was he thinking? Like, why would he have done that? Like who does that? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mandalorian does that shit. Like,
yeah, man. She's like, oh yeah, you gotta go jump off in the water and cleanse yourself. I'd have been like, bitch, who made you tell me that I gotta go do that shit? Like, where's the motherfucker to tell me to go and do that? Because it ain't you. Not because you a woman, just because I don't trust you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why he's just too trustworthy. Like, and his whole creed is just kind of like, man, bro. Like,
it's a fucking cult, man.
I know, but it's like even the other ones ain't that dumb. Like he doesn't question shit. The other ones are just. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about the character of him is just kind of, it makes it hard.
Off. It's
yeah,
off.
but
Like,
the rest of the show,
like really, this is the motherfucker that they all send out to fucking kill everybody, and he can't figure
but
shit
it's
out
like
for himself.
him. Like this dude's around all these dudes, and he's always talking about like we gotta go there for a second. I know he was talking about this, but like I love the show, but like this dude is the only dude like best guard out. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else is poor folks. This motherfucker's walking around and fucking straight up best guard. You know what I mean? Like, and like he ain't nobody. You know what I mean? Like he ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? All these motherfuckers are war tour mercenary motherfuckers. This dude walking around a straight best guard. It's like, bruh, like really? You know what I mean? Like you walking around like little baby, and you got all this jewelry on.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a rapper, and I'm just like, dude, really? Like, man. But I'm glad that like you gotta watch it, man, because Bo-Katan is on there, and like she's like putting that motherfucker to shame, dog. Like, and he's I've
seen that piece. It's like,
and he's just like, he has no clue. You know what I mean? Like, no clue. Like his mind ain't even like, it ain't even like she's over there trying to like really lead. Like she's putting it down, dog. Like I don't know. I think that shit is tight, man. I just it should be the Mandalorian, like literally the Mandalorians. You know what I mean? It shouldn't even be about like necessarily. He should be one of the characters, like one of the main characters. But it should be about like, it shouldn't even be specifically just even about him and Grogu, right? Because he needs a lot of support and cast.
Right, but by now it's too late.
No, yeah, and that's why I'm saying
everybody don't give a fuck.
And that's my thing. Like that's why I mean, like you should have established that as being like about the whole thing, trying to like even like, hey, they're gonna try and take back Mandalore. You know what I mean? Like that could have been the main quest for all of them. You know what I mean? Like, but for it to be about him, and we're three seasons in,
Mm-hmm.
and you still barely know anything about him, and you damn sure don't know anything about Grogu.
So
It's
all
just
right,
about their little, adventures that they've had along the way. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Let me get into some of these comments. So Chad Cave saying, "Hey, she is the president of Disney. She is not the president of Disney. She is the president of Lucasfilms,
yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, specifically Lucasfilms. So that's yeah. So Disney, yeah, she's not even like on the board, of fucking Disney. So yeah, they can absolutely fucking fire her. And then Lord Brooklyn says, I would buy 1 million shares of Disney to sue them for not living up to their fiduciary responsibilities to make a profit. So, thank you for bringing that up because that was a big reason and why Isaac Perlmutter might actually have a lawsuit on his hands. Because a little while back, he actually helped these other guys. So there's these two guys that are like big investors, and Isaac Perlmutter actually turned over some paperwork to them of Disney not doing the right thing. So as a result, these two guys are actually suing to become board members so they can make sure that so got to remember like what I've been bitching about is like okay, as a Disney investor, we haven't had any dividends for a while. Yet they're throwing out all this fucking money out for this shit and that other shit, but you're not returning any of the money back to the investors. So Isaac Perlmutter said, "Hey, what the fuck?" And he gave that paperwork to those guys, so they were able to take that to court, and they've been suing ever since. So that's where it makes it weird for them to fire Isaac. You would have thought he was safe, right?
Right.
Would have, but now it looks like he's getting fired because of this shit, because of the fucking lawsuit. And he was doing not what he was supposed to be doing. It's not as bad as Victoria Alfonso, right? Victoria Alfonso, she was just dumb, right? And now that Isaac Perlmutter is out, it's going to be interesting to see what's going on with that one. He-Man, though, check out the Last Winds show. I'm not sure what that is. Remo, this is from Parker Rizzo, is asking, what is a good LCS in the Bay Area?
There's some good ones, man. What part? It depends on what part, man, because there's a lot of shops. It just depends on your area and what you like hunting for, because they're not all the same.
Kanye West says Grogu's not a Jedi. He's the hype man with his clock.
Yeah, I mean, I get. I mean, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like even him, like they're starting to kind of tell his story, and that motherfucker been through some shit. What up, Mel?
Mel V on a lunch break decided to check in.
Right?
You need to check in with some milk casts. Stop with the bullshit.
I know, right?
You mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm good with him being the sidekick and all that, but like he's seen some shit, man. And like, if you watch the last episode, he's seen some shit. So, like, you can see how he could be a little hesitant about taking advantage of his birthright, if
Yeah.
will say, like his.
All right, let's get into some of these comic books. Right before this, I said Batman 134, Red Mask. That one had like around 64 within the last 7 days. Batman and the Joker the Deadly Duel #6. Once again, these are pre-sales, right? These joints are not even out yet.
And these
Batman
are
and
all open order covers.
open order covers, yes,
Okay.
sir. Batman and the Joker Deadly Duel #6, the cover A, Silvestri. That was supposed to come out this coming Wednesday. Spider-Man #7. I forget the name of the character. I don't think it's the Wasp. Maybe it is the Wasp. But that cover A is at 30 right now. Amazing Spider-Man #23, the What If Disney 100. Been talking about that for a while. And then the spoiler cover,
Yeah.
we actually had the art for that one. That's the one in the bottom right. Don't know what the heck is going on with that. That looked like the dude's just running around just waiting to get his ass beat. Fuck this cover.
You talking about the Spider-Man Spider Boy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I seen that and I was just like, I can't do it.
Don't let the motherfucker run through the hood with that shit on. Come on,
Is this a new character or is this just Spider-Man?
no clue. All I do know is that um, PRH Penguin Random House has not even sent my shit out yet because I think for some they're trying to hold off on the spoiler effect yet, but the art's already out there right now. So y'all fuck now. Just send me my shit so I can get that shit out of here, man.
Is that's the one you're talking about right there, the spoiler cover?
So that's the spoiler cover, but we got the art, which is the bottom right. Over if you go over to
And
the
that's
far
the
right,
end cover?
yeah, it looks corny. Um, then Spider-Man number 23. There's also the cover A. Venom 18 that was out there as well, and then Ghost Rider, and then Joe Fix It. So the understated right now is top left. I started seeing the hot sales is Dead by Daylight. That was a video game right now. The Ivan Tao cover that was actually doing pretty well.
Hmm.
Um, in other comics, um, kind of below the radar right now, and we actually talked about this one last week. Darth Vader, Black, White, and Red, 125. The Carrie Andrews variant. That one comes out in a month from now on 426. Tim Drake, Robin, number 10, cover C, Travis Moore, that DC Pride cardstock. I'm not tracking what's going on with that, or if there's any type of um, new character with that one, but that's actually doing pretty good. On 417, DC Pride 2023 number 1, the Jen Partel special foil variant is doing pretty good. There's a Fantastic Four by Koblish, just a wraparound. It's apparently got 700 characters on that one, but that one's 317 pre-sale, so I'm not tracking that one.
Which one is
Spawn,
that?
Fantastic Four number 7.
Oh,
Not
gotcha.
sure what's
Yeah.
going on with that one. Spawn number 340, that was supposed to be out on 412. Walking Dead Deluxe number 60, that was supposed to be out this week. Gunslinger Spawn is supposed to be out. And then the last one is Dungeons and Dragons. That's movies coming out. It's actually out this week already. There's supposed to be issue number 2. It's coming up on the freaking rear on that one. That one's actually doing not that bad, but I don't think people don't give a fuck about that right now. But I do what I have heard is that it's going to do well. It's one of the best movies of the freaking year. So take that for what you freaking will.
Yeah.
What else we got? All right. Well, before I go into the FOC stuff, let's go ahead and freaking take a quick break. And let me freaking refresh my drink, and then freaking we'll take a break and break.
Hey, don't leave that thing with your accident.
All right, we are back. All right, so first one is up. Action Comics 1054 is on FOC this week. Cover C by David Talaski, which is the Super Workout Connecting Card Stock Variant 1. This was one of 4. Then Action Comics has an Ibrahim Mustafa, Superman cardstock. Then the 125 is by Yasmin Flores Montanes. I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like they're going with the Iron Man effect of the costume just
He's a
going Then there's the 1 in 50 Steve Beach foil. And Blue Beetle Graduation Day number 6, 1 in 25 by Jorge Corona. This is not the art for it, but there is a 1 in 25 for it, and this one is a cover B, I believe. Then there's DC Ruby number 3 by Megan Hedrick. There's your cover B by Mirka Andolfo. Dead Boy Detectives. Detective Comics number 1071. The reason why I want to make sure that this one was pulled out is because there is the Cheshire Cat in this one. In fact, the Cheshire Cat, her name is Jaden Nguyen. She actually makes an appearance in 2 different titles this week. Her first appearance was in Catwoman number 25. So I don't know what's going on with that one, but people are going to probably want to pay attention to what's going on with the character to see if DC Comics is trying to do something with that one. This one is
got the feds up in here.
y'all know y'all fucking like it. This one is logged in as FBI.gov. Comic, can you shout out my uncle? It's his birthday. He got issue 0 of Superman. His name is Barry
McConker.
So shout out to Barry.
Yeah, Barry, you can.
They give us his age.
Congrats.
Detective Comics number cover C, Kelly Jones. Not sure why there's spider webs or anything like that. Then here's your 1 in 25 by Sebastian Furamera. Scout Comics has Banshees number 2. This is the second title that week that's on FOC that's going to have the Cheshire Cat. This one is the cover A by Sean Izaki. This one is by Frank Cho.
I like that.
This one, Frank Cho.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It is because she's not even in the fucking book.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with Green Arrow.
Actually, I lied. She is in the freaking book, but it's just kind of weird because they didn't eat her in the fucking book, but there she is.
Yeah.
But this one is the cover C by David Nakayama. This is whatever. Then there's your 1 in 25 by Chikuri.
That's cool. I like that one.
And yeah.
This is the 1 in 50?
It's a Sean Izaki wraparound.
No, the one previous. Now, is that a 1 in 50?
It's got to be.
The same cover?
I'm going to have to look that up. It's got to be a 1 in 50, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. There's your wraparound. I'm not sure who all these characters are. The one on the freaking railing right up there, that's the Cheshire Cat. That's Jaden Gwynn. And I'm not gonna. It was actually what the?
This the 1 in 100.
Yo. Okay, so here's what's crazy. See the girl on top, right? She's got the little cat that's backwards. That's Jaden Gwynn. That's the Cheshire Cat. Go right below. See I don't know if you can see that thing. It's a thing that with a mask on that looks
Yeah,
like a fucking cat. That's
yeah.
the Cheshire Cat.
So that's her in and out of costume.
Yeah. What the fuck are they doing? All right, and then there's these other characters. I don't know who the fuck those other characters are, and I don't know why they got Peacemaker on that motherfucker. But all right,
No,
yeah,
but
that's y'all.
that might be Green Arrow #1. That's the 1 in 100 though. Ooh, that's gonna be a $600 book.
And then you got the Red Canary. Red Canary. I need to get the first appearance of Red Canary because she's been showing up in a lot of shit lately. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with her.
Yikes, a $600 Green Arrow book.
I don't know. Moving on to Harley Quinn. This was the cover A by Sweeney Boo. This year cover B by Jenny Frison. This year 125 by Megan Hedrick. She's getting some work lately. This one is a weird one, right? If you look at it close up, you can see Harley Quinn, but if you look out far, if you back up, it's Harley Quinn, but in a different position. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I like it.
I do too. This is a what now? A
One in
regular
50.
1 in 50.
Yeah.
Man, that's nice.
And that's why Matthias Bagara. It's weird. Dude, if I hadn't seen it in another light when I was freaking drinking earlier, I would have just passed over it. But now that I'm like I've seen it in both ways, I'm like, oh shit, interesting.
It was. I mean, I know it's intentional, but is that something that they're bringing to? Like, are they mentioning that, or is that just some?
Yeah,
You
they
know,
don't miss
play
no
on the art?
solicit.
That's a nice book, man. I'm liking these. Man, that I like that 1 in 100, and I like this 1 in 50 right here. A Green Lantern, I don't know, man. Green Lantern. I'm not into Green Lantern like that.
Yeah, especially he doesn't even have a CW show right now.
Yeah, right.
Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods, cover B by Simone DeMeo. This is your 1 in 25 by Michael Cho.
Joe's doing some DC books this go, huh?
Scout Comics has Quicksand #1. There's a 1 in 10 that I've got later on. Oh, there it is. So you buy 10 of these and you get to buy as many as you want.
Wait a minute. You buy 10 of this.
Well, you buy 10 of this one.
Okay,
And you buy as many as you want of this one.
Of the 1 in 10.
Yeah. Riddler Year 1 by cover A by Bill Sienkiewicz. This is your cover B by Steven Subic. And it's supposed to go into some of the other characters that were in his life that made him the way he was. So there's definitely going to be some new characters in this one. Cover C by Mike Mignola.
I like that.
1 in 25 by Joshua Hickson. Dead Boy Detectives, cover A by Nimitz Malavia.
That Magnola was an incentive or it was an open order?
Open order.
Oh, wow.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then Dead Boy Detectives, cover B, Alex Heckman cardstock.
Right.
A lot of detail in this one. I forget the name of the Japanese ghost that this one is, but fucking love it. Love it. And then this is your 1 in 25 by Kathy Kwan. This should have been a 1 in 25 versus this shit.
Absolutely.
American Nature, a new people on the fucking blocks. It's got the Santos sisters. Scout Comics has Snow White Zombie Apocalypse. And then there's Tim Drake, Robin #8, cover B by David Talaski. AWA Studios has Trojan #4.
The towel cover or no?
Yes, absolutely. The cow. Then Unstoppable Doom Patrol #2 by Alan Qua. And then here's your 1 in 25 by Jorge Molina. Probably should have been this one. Star Wars High Republic, Jedi Quest One Shot Cover A by Dark Horse. Sonic the Hedgehog number 60, 1 and 10 by Food Rain. Star Trek Defiant, Unzueta. Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer number 12, 1 and 10 by Lorma. And there's also a 1 and 20 version of this one. Star Trek Defiant number 3, 1 and 25 by Bartok. And that's your version. 1 and 50. Vanish number.
Only one I liked was that one that had the schematic of that Deep Space Nine.
Yes, and that one's actually coming out this week.
That one's coming out this week.
Yep. So keep an eye out. Vanish number 6. For some reason, they said, "Yep, let's do 1 and 250." What's the furthest place from here? Number 12, 1 and 25. Look, I was fine with that shit when they had the fucking records, but I'm not even fucking reading this shit right now. I've not read a single fucking issue of that shit.
I never got. I have ordered one initially, like the one of the first covers where they had the record. I never got it, and I was like, "The hell with this shit."
No, I got some motherfucker out there that he got one in a surprise box, and he's complaining that he didn't get any incentives in his box.
Any incentives?
Any incentives, even though he got one
He
of
got
those.
that record. He got
that record. That's not a one per store. That's a heavily allocated.
That shit didn't come out, man. Nobody got a record ever receiving that shit.
Cult of Carnage Misery number 1, Leno U. This is the Inhyuk Lee variant. I have no idea who that is. And then this is the 1 in 50 by Scan. And it's a version.
Is that Scream or whatever?
Or is it Misery? I think it's Misery.
Oh, it's Misery.
Demon Wars. Scarlet Sin 1 in 100 by Momoko. I don't spend any money on this shit. None of this shit is fucking worth any fucking thing. They're not doing anything with this shit. Don't spend your money on that. There's your 1 in 25 by Jen Bartel. If you're a Bartel fan, fine.
Yeah, I mean, Momoko usually does all the covers, so for them to even let somebody else do the incentives is kind of cool.
There's your 1 in 50 by Stephanie Hans. Oh. Edge of Spider-Verse 1 in 25 by Lashley. Here's a 1 in 50 by Ryan Brown. Groot number 1 in 25 by Ben Su. This one actually looks kind of badass. Immortal X-Men number 1 in 25 by Miguel Mercado. Scarlet Witch 1 in 25, Joshua Swaby. I actually like this one a lot better than the other Scarlet Witches because a lot of them they just throw the clothes on her, but this one actually looks kind of natural the way the clothes is actually flowing on her. Yeah. Spider-Man number 2099, Dark Genesis number 1 in 25. Star Wars Return of Jedi Lando. Never thought I'd see this, but 1 in 25 by Raza. Star Wars Yoda 1 in 25 by Fairy. They try to make Yoda a badass. All right.
Yeah, right. His little 2-inch tall self.
Unless I see something about why Grogu is a thing, I don't give a fuck about Yoda right now. I want to see Yoda get some ass. All right, that'll make me feel a little bit better. All right.
Getting it in, right?
Yeah, we already know there's a female that's out there. No, let's
gotta be.
Yeah, just let Yoda get a little bit. You know what I mean? And Yoda can't get some, the homies can't get none. Right? Immortal X-Men number 1, Stephanie Hans. Edge of Spider-Verse number 1, Scotty Young, excuse me. This is the Casanovas connecting variant. actually looks pretty damn good.
And what's that character's name? The one that looks like a spider?
I forget what the fuck his name is. Immortal X-Men, Torrent Clark. I unfortunately fucking cut it off because I was working on this shit. And this one was a little risque for where I was working at. Moon Knight number 23, the Renaud. This is
Spider
the shout.
Killer.
Yes, sir. By Declan Shavsey. More Star Wars Yoda. You just look at me, man. It's like, what the fuck? Scarlet Witch Aspinall. Here's a Spider-Man number 8, Liefeld homage. Not just homage, homager. Homager. 2099 Dark Genesis Lashley frame. Some of those frames do tend to be popular. And then here's your Star Wars number 34 Christopher action figure. Lando 1/100. Ryan Brown.
I like that.
Sir Christopher the Great says that was called the Spider Killer.
Yeah. So that's the one that if you see a couple back that said there's a open order Edge of Spider-Verse with the first Spider Killer on the cover. Ken Lashley. So
that would be
before this one?
Yeah, that would. Well, see, this is an open order. Casanova's connecting variant is an open order.
What's the Lashley one, the one you showed first?
Let's see. Because I didn't grab all this shit. I ain't got time for all that. But definitely. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, see, that's a 1/25 Lashley variant. So maybe I didn't grab that one. But definitely, definitely watch Ultra Maximus show. He covered all the freaking joints up there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get all this done before Remo turns into a pumpkin.
I know, right?
X-Men Before the Fall of Sons. The Fall Sons of X number 1 Simmons.
I have to ask on all the X-Men stuff because there's way too many titles, and he's the only person I know reading them all. If I have questions, I gotta go to Ultra. Like, hold on, man, what happened
to Star Wars High Republic Adventures number 6, cover to be revealed. This one is the Adventures of Jedi Quest one shot. This is your cover to be by Nord. Dune House Harkonnen number 4, 1/10. This is your 1/25, cover D. Graham number 10. Can't believe this is still a freaking thing. 1/10 by Florentino. 1/25 by Allen. 1/50. These motherfuckers got the nerve to have a 1/50.
Yeah, on a issue 10 too. Like they're only on 10. But,
Neighbors number 2, 1/15. Arzu. Batgirls number 17, cover B, David Marquez. Hold up, what's going on here? This might be some of the stuff that's coming out. Let me check real quick.
Coming out this week?
Did I get to that point yet? No, I did not get to that point yet. Okay. Batman, Superman, World's Finest, number 14, 1/25 by Hayden Sherman. 1/50 by Nicolas Sesmazja. Actually, I think some of this stuff might be coming out. Or did... No, this is... excuse me. This is some of the stuff that was already on FLC, so don't worry about that stuff. Let's get to... All right, here's the stuff that's coming out this week. Amazing Spider-Man number 23, 1/100. This is the Alex Ross. Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, 1/100. Alex Ross. Ric Flair. I don't have the cover for you. There's the cover out there. Once again,
he with the gun, right?
Yeah. Once again, I was around a bunch of kids. I want to be that old dude with people and weird shit. New release Cosmic Ghost Rider number 2, 125, Maria Wolf. Disney Villains card number 1, 1/100. Amoral X-Men number 3, 1/25 by Derek Chu. King Spawn number 21, cover B by Glapion. Nasty number 1, 1/75 by Sean Alexander. And of course, the spoiler, top secret spoiler. We've got the art for that. I already showed that earlier. Then there's your 1/100 Disney 100 black and white. Trust me, don't buy this one for very expensive because there's going to be a lot of fucking copies of this shit out there.
Wait, go back. You the one you were just showed the spoiler. You said that's the one we were.
Yeah, Spider Boy, the one with Spider Boy on there.
So that's the spoiler cover.
Yes.
Wow.
Let me see if I can bring that forward real quick.
I seen that somewhere else, and I'm trying to think of where I saw it, and I'm like, that's
So that's interesting. As I don't have my copy, we're just going off of what other people are saying right now. I don't have my copy, so I can't confirm, but that's what other people are saying right now. And when I go to the Penguin Random House joint, they don't have the art for it on there yet either. So speculative. Let's say speculative right now.
yeah.
I'm more comfortable with that one. Spider Killer, Rimworld. Let's see that still freeze. Spider-Man 7 as a Spider-Verse is a good hit. If Moreland debuts at the end of Spider-Verse, everything is up for grabs. Absolutely. I've been pushing for Moreland for like 3 years right now. Like that's why I don't care about any of these other characters. If Moreland comes in, because he's a vampire. And he's a vampire and all they eat is spiders, right? So bring Moreland in, kill all these other motherfuckers off, then we got a freaking interesting thing that's going to be interesting. Golden Apple has the art for Spider-Boy cover, and they want $10 for it. Yeah. After this, let me check if Penguin Random House still has it up. They still have it up. Once again,
The spoiler, they're showing it as spoiler, or they're showing it as a Spider Boy.
they're showing it as this, right? So, yeah, if you're interested in it for a regular cover price, hit me up on my Instagram. Because I know I have at least 10 extra copies floating around. But I'm gonna try and order more if people are interested in it. So it is. That's it. They're called the Inheritors. Yep. So let me take a quick second. So the interesting thing about the Inheritors is that there's actual roles in there. There's the grandfather, there's the grandpappy of them. Then there's Anansi, which is like the Spider Weaver. Then there's the bride. So there's those guys. But the current family of Spider people right now, they're actually supposed to take over for those guys, right? So Miles Morales is probably supposed to take over for Nancy. Silk, she's supposed to take over as the bride, and all these other people they're supposed to take over. So that's what they're supposed to be moving towards. The problem is the fucking current writers don't have the fucking guts to fucking do that shit. They don't. Which they should. It would be a little bit interesting. They tried, literally, I think it was like a year and a half ago. They tried, but they brought back the Inheritors. They were moving towards it, but they never went through with it. All right, so let's keep going. All right, Amazing Spider-Man number 23. That's your 1/100 black and white. We already covered that. This is your 1/50 for a Scarlet Witch. This is your Jingo Lee. Star Wars Hidden Empire number 5. Once again, this one is coming out. Yours is your 1/25 by Lopez. This is with your Knights of Ray. That's a Ray. That's a Ren. Yeah, Knights of Ren or something like that. There's your Wolverine number 32, 1/100. Your Alex Ross. And that, sir, that's our show. Sir Christopher the Great says, and everything will focus on Miles Morales going forward after Ultimate Invasion, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Brian Hitch, $7.99. $7.99 cover price. God damn. God damn. They think everybody's just fucking balling right now. Ain't me. Could be me, man.
I mean, they did that with the House of X and Powers of 10. Remember, they were, for that time, those were kind of expensive books.
Shit.
See how that turned out.
All I know is that a bunch of companies are having a whole bunch of layoffs. People ain't got cash like they used to.
Everywhere. Across the board, man. Across the board. And that's the thing. It's like all they have to do is like, I mean, I guess you figure like if you're dealing in volume, like a lot of these publishers are, they're banking on people buying these books. But if the books suck, nobody's gonna buy them. Like you don't have stores like I can't. I remember there used to be this liquor store I used to go to, and they had, this was in the magazine days, so there was a ton of magazines, and then they had a ton of books, like comic books. You know what I mean? Like you could go in there and find comic books. You don't see that no more.
Mm.
So it's not if a comic book shop's not carrying books, they're not just gonna buy books just to keep you in the store like a Barnes and Nobles or like a something like that where you would be just sitting in there getting coffee and they got a ton of books that you can kill time reading. You're not gonna if the books have to sell, like what I mean, people gotta want those books. So yeah, I'm not seeing all that.
So Manny the Comic Collector says people are actually bidding on that Spider-Board cover on eBay. Books still available at cover at downtown. I just checked the Penguin Random House site. It's still available. So if you wanted me to order fucking 100, I can fucking order a fucking 100. Just let me know. Sir Christopher says, "Hey, Hickman will rebuild the entire universe."
You will.
They want Sir Christopher the Great is saying that they want 110 for the 1 in 25. Is there a 1 in 25? Hold on, let me check. If there is, I didn't fucking order that shit.
What, the Spider Boy? The Spider Boy? I didn't even know this was like
there's no 1 in 25. There's a 1 in 100, but there's no 1 in 25 for it. In fact, there's two 1 in 100s. The Alex Ross is 1 in 100, and then the oh wait, what the fuck is going on? Where is the other? Interesting. Huh. Anyway, so there is one Alex Ross Spider-Man 1 in 100 that's out there, and he's saying that people want $450 for it. Yep. Hey, Baron Baptiste is asking me, the art for that Spider-Man cover is supposed to be done by Ramos. That doesn't like his style of art. So that's what I'm saying. It's speculative, right? Like I'm dead looking at the Penguin Random House joint right now. They don't have the art up for it yet. And what I will say is that usually I have the books in by now, or I'll have it in the morning, or there'll be I'll get the invoice or like a tracking number. They haven't even sent that shit to me yet, which means they're trying to hold on to that shit for as long as possible. They do that all the time. Like it'll be fucking Wednesday, or it'll be fucking Tuesday, and that's when their fucking shit arrives to my house because they want to hold on to that as long as possible to force the retailers to order that shit up right to the freaking right up to the end. For Ultimate Invasion, I put up $500. I'm not. What does that mean that you put up $500? That you bought $500 worth of shit? Oh, man, thank you for bringing that up because there's a great Christopher Tyler Ultimate Invasion Miles Morales joint that's out there. We bring that up and then we'll freaking close out the show.
I mean, I get it, but why is everybody going after that Spider-Man number 7 now. You know what I mean?
It was because Dan Slott on his Twitter put out that something big was happening.
Mhm.
So months ago, people went crazy for that shit. Here we go. Let's see.
Yeah, but I mean,
Here we go. So I've seen numbers for this. It got overcome by other shit, but this one is actually selling pretty good right now.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, it's all right. Because it was just revealed Wednesday. I work in the shop, so I put 500. I work in the shop, so I put in 500 just so I can get 2 125s and 1 100s. Yeah, but he doesn't. Wait, he says he has the actual book in his listing. Okay, let me see. Let's go. What are we talking? We're talking about Spider-Man number 7. I see somebody photoshopped the 9.8.
I mean,
and they photoshopped the 9. Okay, let's see. Okay, somebody has some shit on his fucking couch, and the shit is bent the fuck up. And shit is bent the fuck up. Don't buy that shit. That shit is all bent the fuck up. What's worrying about that is when it's all bent up, that means it's made out of cheap paper. So that means I probably should buy more copies because some of the shit that's gonna 6 watched in the last 7 hours. 9 people bought it at $15.
Where was this at?
On eBay. Some jackass is selling it for $15 plus $4.99 shipping. Well, I guess I'm going to order 50 more of these motherfuckers in. And I'm going to undercut them at 10.
Grab me like 3 of them.
Yeah. That's crazy. Here's a graffiti tag with Raymond's name on the cover of the building. Lucas, you are 100% correct. Looks more like cheap paper. Okay, let me bring that freaking joint over. There we go.
Grab me a couple of those. I'll take 3. Just to have them. I don't need to flip them. I just want to have them, so I don't have FOMO. I'm like, what to do? Fucking I get the book with just being fucking stubborn.
Oh my god! Oh yeah. So yeah,
I mean, if there's a 1 in 100 in there, I mean, shit, the more the merrier.
Yeah. So let me go ahead. Should I put in 50 or should I put in 100?
I'll take 5. That'll help you out. That'll get you closer. That'll get you closer.
Yeah. What I hate is
I'm sure Mel go wants some.
Yeah. What I hate is buying it after the fact, and then I can't get access. I can't get access to the fucking incentives and shit.
But if your man says that them shits is going for like 10 to 15 a pop online, then you might be able to offload all them bitches in the first week or so.
Yeah. Fuck. Let me go ahead and bite the fucking bullet.
Lord, please, I'm gonna throw FOMO. I usually don't get it, man.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Fucking y'all motherfuckers better buy it. I'm gonna sell these at $10 a pop. Y'all motherfuckers.
You think you'll buy a lot? Shit, especially if there's. I mean, I'll say this though. I've never seen them say that there's a spoiler cover and then everybody's showing you the spoiler cover. You know what I mean? Like they usually keep them under wraps pretty good. Like, and it seems like people already got them in hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
like I don't even got them.
yeah, that's
Like
what I'm saying.
my shit. Like yeah, I checked my shit. My shit says it's not even being sent yet.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying like if this is a B cover or a C, the spoiler cover, like I've never seen them. You never see the spoiler cover. Like even remember like the Miss Minutes, you didn't see that until you remember you were like, oh, it looks the same as black and white. You're like, what? You know, but they didn't even show you that one. You know what I mean? So. And then the spider, what was the little fly? Remember the little spider on the under the magnifying glass or whatever?
Yeah. We didn't
They
see that
never
shit
showed
until they
that.
came out.
Yeah, so I'm surprised they're showing the cover. So if this is truly the cover, then and he's the new it character, then yeah, it's probably worth having that. And Sir Christopher says Spider Boy with his origin reveal in Edge of Spider-Verse #3. So okay, so yeah. He said he's here to stay, so he might be the alternative to Miles. Spider Killer.
Sir Christopher Gray says I do another 75. FOMO's one hell of a fucking drug.
It is, man. I usually don't do it,
but
it's always a Spider-Man book that makes me get FOMO.
Y'all motherfuckers better buy from me, man. Shit. Here I go. Fucking 100 in the fucking cart. God damn it. Yeah, because shit. I remember, man, fucking the last one that I really hit big on was actually what was it? It wasn't this one. Actually, the what you call it, the Vampirella joints, the Vampirella year ones, number 6s, the one where she's pregnant. Those are pretty good. It's weird because the Lucia Perillo, which is pretty, is doing really well. In fact, I just sold one.
Is it consistent though? Like are people buying it like weekly, daily?
Yeah. So, yeah. If when I have it available, I've got a shitload. And people are fucking buying the shit out of that. The what do you call it? The ultraviolet one. I just sold another one for like $15. Right? That's fucking wild.
Those ultraviolets, man. I'm mad.
Yeah. The weird one is that the one where she's actually pregnant. People have not been buying that.
They don't want to see that shit. They're not into that.
Not into the
it takes a special kind of money. You gotta be into that one. You gotta have been there.
So Midtown is selling the Spider-Man #7 Spider-Man for $54.
So the wife says she want 5 too.
Yeah, man, freaking come and get that shit. Spider Killer. You got the pull box order, right?
Yeah.
You got the pull box. Yeah, go ahead and fucking put your shit in, and then I make sure y'all get the hookup. Slap 5 years on it. Hey, Chad, this might be the book to get next week. Also, option Indigo Children #1 has a second print. Okay, this was in the spotlight on Aprillo, sold out same day. Hey, I went deep. I went fucking deep on that fucking Vampiro that Perillos. It looks like I didn't go deep enough because every time I put shit up, people keep fucking buying that shit. I haven't even started releasing my 1 in 10s yet. There's a 1 in 10s, and I think I have a 1 in 20s. There's the metal foil, maybe that's coming out this week or next week or some shit like that. So that's a fucking thing, which I think is still available. What are you guys buying on Midtown? I've told you guys, I got y'all. Y'all just fucking just hit me up on Children's Greens and Cornbread on fucking, and I'll fucking make sure y'all fucking get your shit. Cause I just put in an order for 100 of these motherfuckers. All right, but yeah, once again, thank y'all for hanging out with us. goddamn, 3 o'clock in the morning, 60 of y'all still fucking hanging out with us.
Mhm.
This is definitely going to be the
Thank
book.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah,
Appreciate
fucking.
it.
So yeah, this is the week. This is the good one this week. That Vampire Early Year one from this past Wednesday. That was a freaking really good one.
And shout out to Sir Christopher too for hipping us to it because we
Yeah.
wouldn't even pay attention to it.
Well, no, yeah. So yeah, because we were already talking about this in our little freaking chat.
In our chat, yeah, but we weren't like Spidey kept telling us to fuck with it.
Yeah, I mean, see, let me go back to the original joint. Yeah, because I don't want people to freaking miss out on that shit. Because I know people might have been fucking around with the top 10. Because we've been talking about this book for a while. We've been talking about that spoiler for a while. We've been talking about this for at least a month and a half, right? Number one this week was Batman number 134, The Red Mask. Batman, The Joker, The Deadly Duel number 6. That's supposed to be coming out this week. The Spider-Man number 7 cover A. That one was actually the top over the spoiler. The Amazing Spider-Man number 23, that What If. Number 7, that Disney 100. That one's still over that top spoiler. And then the rest of it was bottomed out by the other 23 covers, Venom number 16 and Ghost Rider. The Dead by Daylight, people are not tracking that one, that Ivan Tao joint that's out there. And then the one that was on FOC last week, so it's too late to freaking order it at a discount.
You don't have the link to the pool box through on the Comic Crusaders site, do you? Give them the link to the pool box so they can go to the pool box and order some.
Yeah, just hit me up on Chilton's Greens and Cornbread, and I'll make sure if you guys are not already on the pull box, just hit me up on my Instagram at Chilton Greens and Cornbread. Make sure you send me your email address, and then I will send you an invite. Once I send you an invite, you just fill out your information, and you just fucking go to town. That's it. DM me on IG, Sincere Christopher the Great. Yep. Okay, let me capture all that stuff. You just know that Marvel are going to have spoiler events every week now. Yes, there's actually another spoiler.
But the key is to get this one, because then the rest are going to come after the fact, and this one will be the one that kind of started it. So you want to get the book that started it, not the ones after.
Yeah. So, for instance, there's a Scarlet Witch annual Rod Reese spoiler variant. The FLC is in May, so you got to look out for that one. We tried to order more spoilers, and they were already back ordered on Diamond. So let me see. Let me check Diamond. So that's the thing about Diamond, right? Is that they're limited to like what they can back order. What do we talk about? We're talking about spoilers. Yeah, it's sold out in Diamond. Absolutely. So, but it was available to order still through Penguin Random House. So, Dead by Daylight readers can unlock an exclusive in-game charm using the unique code found inside the comics. Good to know. Thanks for that, Edwin. And then a movie is also in development. Also good to know, right? What I don't remember is if there's any type of. I don't think there's any type of retailer incentive, but there is a foil variant that's like $14.99 or something like that. So that one's probably the one to get. But, ladies and gents, looks like Remo's getting ready to turn into the pumpkin. The Hennessy probably got to a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting me there. I got Duce tonight. I got Duce.
Nice. Man, look. So the Previews World magazine actually came out this week as well. I want to get to that later on this week, maybe Saturday or Sunday. So please stay tuned to the show. Hopefully I can get the rest of these gentlemen on so we can freaking go through that shit. I don't know if Remo, if you got any type, do you have any type of whatnot or anything going on this week?
No, I actually was gonna schedule one. I think for I don't know yet. Keep your eyes open. I might pop on like Lucas and have me a little flash sale or something. Man. Right? Tell me I got to get rid of some stuff.
Yes, sir.
I might pop up on there and let some things go. So,
yes, sir. All right. So yes. So freaking please, definitely thank you for supporting us. Please definitely support the rest of the family. I'm talking about Brian McClay, CMSI Top 10, Ultra Maximus, on his show.
Secret
Um,
Variant.
Yep, nearing Nirvana. This lady's just had a show. It's in MegaCon right now. So please support those guys. At least give them a thumbs up, and then definitely hit me up if you guys freaking need anything, especially anything that's actually on FOC this week. Love y'all. Stay safe and have a good one. Out.
For each man in his time, his pain, until he walks along the beach and sees his future in the water, along life's arc within his reach. I haven't needed a book to walk.
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As you guys know, it is Drunken Chat